Just know that I would have to go to a psychiatrist, be diagnosed as clinically depressed, and be put on some pretty heavy medication when the only problem is that my neighbor is homophobic.
In it, I was denied entry into Dubai because I am transgender, and it absolutely disgusts me that this kind of discrimination still goes on. But I just want
you're straight. I am here to fight for your equality because I believe that we are all born equal, but we are not treated equally, and that is why we must fight. We must fight for the equality of every man, woman, and child, regardless of race, religion, color, creed, and sexual orientation.
Talking about hormones, this doctor in the hospital actually looked at me and said, "Oh, what do hormones do?" I didn't think hormones did anything, and he actually checked me out of the hospital. He said, I think that you're just bleeding a lot right now. Fast forward 3 days later from this hospital visit, and I was diagnosed with invasive hormonal breast cancer that tested 99% positive for estrogen. And I think that if I had...
What makes this attack even worse is that it was also the deadliest attack against the LGBTQ community on record. The attack came against the backdrop of Pride Month, a time when the LGBTQ community commemorates the fight for equal rights and acceptance in America.
Yeah, I don't think I know any trans person that went through the medical system and had a nice time with it. Not in this country.
Going to the pharmacy to pick up my first testosterone prescription, I was nerve-wracked already because it's like such an emotional thing to like finally get that golden ticket. It ends up being like $1. So it's just the syringes. There's no medicine. 4 people later, and about 20 minutes, they finally look it up in the computer and they're like, oh yeah, oops. Throughout this entire process, I have to say my legal name, which isn't the name that I go by, out loud to the entire store. And I'm basically outing myself to everyone around me. And that's not wanting to hide, that's just about trying to stay safe. Like, some people hear that and they might follow me to my car and bash my head in.
During one physical therapy appointment.
I came out to my family as transgender September of 2015. I started hormone replacement therapy a year later, June of 2016.
Okay.
And then I got top surgery March of 2017. Testosterone, I've been on it for just about 2.5 years now. I take 0.25 milligrams of testosterone every single week, and I have to be on that for the rest of my life.
This is my voice 1 day on T. This is my voice 2 months on T.
This is my voice 5 months on T. This is my voice 8 months on T. This is my voice 11 months on T. This is my voice 2 years on T.
And for my top surgery, I had a bilateral double mastectomy.
Mm-hmm.
And that did not include nipple grafts. So currently I don't have any areolas or anything. It's just straight scars across my chest. Saskatchewan, there's paperwork you have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And to legally change your gender and name, I just did it I did it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like $120, and you just fill out the form, send it in, and they send you a new birth certificate and everything. So it's pretty simple. You don't have to go through a judge or a court or anything. It's just you send in papers, and then they send it back to you, and it's all changed.
Oh.
Did all of my medical stuff through Saskatoon, and they were so good, just a really good medical team. They're super friendly, and any questions I had, they answered them perfectly, and they're always and they were really understanding and everything. Had my top surgery, but then I had a top surgery revision, so they just corrected it a little bit. Both times were like amazing. We're really good at explaining everything, and I asked my questions, and they answered all of them perfectly. And they actually, for both when I started testosterone and when I got my procedure, they gave me pamphlets of and I guess booklets of everything that complications, anything that could happen, and they walked me through each booklet so that we were both on the same page where like what could possibly happen and what like my results are going to be and stuff like that. So, like first coming out, going to get my blood work done and stuff like that, I felt like um, a little bit of prejudice just from like in the lab where you get your blood work done. And this was when I was first coming out, so I was still not legally Jared. I was still legally under my birth name, so they wouldn't call me by my preferred name, even though I asked them to. They wouldn't call me that, so that kind of like was frustrating. But that was the only time where I felt ever judged or anything like that. Most of my my family and stuff were on board with it. It took a little bit of getting used to and everything. I lived with my parents, and they've like supported me like the whole time, and and my mom is always willing to drive me to all my appointments when it comes to my transition, and she's just on board with everything, and she's just she just really supports it, and she's like just really like open-minded about everything, and so that's really nice. And same with like my siblings and everything, and they like even my younger siblings who like I thought like wouldn't really understand, they just think of me as their older brothers. So they let me wear the male uniform while I went there, and they called me by my preferred name because my name wasn't legally changed yet, but they called me by my preferred name, and yeah, they're pretty on board with it actually. Like I didn't really get any backlash from any teachers or anything like that, so that was pretty. Grade 12 was like the first year that I like came out, so I was a little bit like kind of scared, and like I kept to myself a lot, I think, just because I wasn't sure how people would react. I know I felt like a lot of my friends kind of didn't really talk to me a lot after I came out. It's like they didn't reach out to me to see if I was okay, and I didn't like interact. I kind of like kept away. I wouldn't go out with them or anything like that. Like